Yo, what is going on, everyone? My name is Nico, the Notorious Fantasy. And in today's video, I'm bringing you guys an early top 20 player rankings for fantasy football in 2021. In this video, we're going to go over players 11 through 20. If you guys missed 1 through 10, please make sure that you guys check that out on my channel from a couple of days ago. I'm going to be going over those players in this video, but obviously not as far in depth as I did a couple of days ago. So make sure you check that out if you want to hear more in depth reasoning as to why I have those guys ranked where I do inside of the top 10. If you guys do end up enjoying this video, please make sure to drop that subscribe button down below. Hit it with a nice old drop kick. I would really appreciate that. It helps me out a ton. It helps more people watch these videos so that we can become an empire on a boardwalk like that show on HBO, Boardwalk Empire. That was a terrible joke, but let's get into it early. Top 20 player rankings. We begin with my top 10. At number 1, we got Christian McCaffrey, running back of the Carolina Panthers. Number 2, Dalvin Cook, running back of the Minnesota Vikings. Number 3, Alvin Kamara, running back of the New Orleans Saints. 4, Derrick Henry, running back of the Tennessee Titans. Number 5, Big Dick Nicholas Chubb, running back of the Cleveland Browns. 6, Devontae Adams, wide receiver of the Green Bay Packers. Number 7, Saquon Barkley, running back, New York Football Giants. At 8, Travis Kelce, tight end, Kansas City Chiefs. 9, Jonathan Taylor, running back, Indianapolis Colts. And closing out the top 10, we have Stephon Diggs, wide receiver formerly of the Minnesota Vikings, now of the Buffalo Bills. Again, if you guys want to hear more about that, make sure you guys go back on my channel after this one and watch that. Number 11, we have Ezekiel Elliott, running back of the Dallas Cowboys. Now, Zeke had 2 completely different seasons inside of one. He had the beginning of the season where him and his best friend, Dakota Prescott, they're chilling out there. They're having a good time. They're running up the score. They're scoring 7 zillion points. Then there's the other part of the season, which is not even like 2 halves of a season because Dak only played a couple of games, but in those games, Zeke was playing good. But then after Dak died and fucking Gucci Danucci was in, Gilbert Gottfried was in, it turned into a complete and utter catastrophe for this Dallas Cowboys offense, and Zeke fell off the face of the earth. Now, Zeke also is going to be a product of his offensive line. In years past, the Dallas Cowboys had an offensive line that was legitimately a brick shithouse, a brick wall that was going to stop everything. Literally. It was like the Great Wall of China. It was like, I don't even know, another cool wall, but, you know, just a cool wall that's going to be stopping everyone so that Zeke could easily maneuver his way through there. But then recently, it's kind of went a little bit downhill. Now, this draft placement of Ezekiel Elliott assumes that Dak Prescott signs back. Now, there's definitely some rumors on the interwebs. If you type in, use your Twitter fingers, type in there, you'll find people saying Dak's not going to be re-signing. What I've read is that they're going to tag him if he doesn't re-sign. And please, Dallas, tag him. I mean, no tag him. Please actually sign the guy. He deserves the money. He deserves everything. Just pay him. Okay? It's that simple. You pay him. But I don't know, that hasn't happened yet. Zeke finished as running back 9 in PPR last season, and running back number 11 in half PPR in 2020. He played in 15 games, started 14 in the 2020 season, 244 rushes for 979 rushing yards, 5 rushing tugs, 52 receptions on 71 targets for 338 receiving yards, 2 receiving touchdowns, 14.9 PPR points per game, and 13.2 half PPR points per game. So it was much worse of a season this year compared to what we've seen in the past for Ezekiel Elliott, but a lot of that, I'll give an excuse for Zeke, is because the offense was without their star quarterback in Dakota Prescott. 223.7 PPR points and 197 half PPR points scored on the year. Like I said, this was a down year. In 2018-2019, this guy was on top of the world. 329.2 PPR points. 2018-2019 saw 311. This guy is going to be very involved in the receiving game of the Dallas Cowboys, which is a huge boost for him, and why I got him at ranking number 11. I think Zeke has the potential to be a top 5 guy, but with the fact that the offensive line has not been as good as the Dallas Cowboys past, I am a little bit worried about Ezekiel Elliott for the 2021 NFL season. Let me know down below what you guys think about Zeke, as he kind of fell out of favor last season. At number 12, we have Tyreek, the Freak Hill, wide receiver of the Kansas City Chiefs, Mr. Peace Sign, Mr. Lost the Super Bowl, but that's A-okay. The Chiefs' offensive line got folded like a table in Buffalo and got ran through like Mia Malkova. They stood no chance. Tyreek Hill had a pretty solid game, but not the game he had up against the Bucs from Week 11, where he dropped 263 yards, I believe. Tyreek Hill, wide receiver of the Kansas City Chiefs, wide receiver 2 on the season in both half and full. PPR played in 14 games, 2020, 135 targets for 87 receptions, 1,276 receiving yards, 15 tugs, 21.9 PPR points per game, and 19 half PPR points per game. Tyreek Hill is a safe wide receiver. In the past, I kind of thought about him as because, hey, he's a burner wide receiver, there are going to be games where he gets shut down. There's going to be games where he scores like 8 points. And frankly, that's just not true anymore. Tyreek Hill has transcended what I thought he was going to be in the NFL. The clear wide receiver one on the team besides Travis Kelce. This team loves to pass the ball. Tyreek is going to eat yet again in 2021. Don't really see too much to explain here. You can even have him higher than this, and I wouldn't judge you at all. 328.9 PPR points on the season, 285.4 half PPR points on the season. We saw him play his best ever besides in 2017, his sophomore season, where he had 239.2 PPR points, had 328 the year after that. In 2020, 328.9 PPR points. So he has been pretty solid the last couple of years. Obviously, I don't expect this guy to score 15 touchdowns again, but I do expect the receiving numbers to go up a little bit more. And he is one of those Swiss Army knife players who is going to be getting one of those, or some of those rushing opportunities, which even further boosts his rankings, at least in my opinion. Number 13, we have Austin Ekeler, running back of the Los Angeles Chargers. Now, I know people are going to be running to the fucking comments section right now like Usain Bolt saying, Nick, you dumb motherfucker. Austin Ekeler is not good anymore. He's this, he's that, he's washed. They have Joshua Kelly. They have this, they have that. Don't be dumb. Don't be dumb, okay? And now I'm thinking a lot of you guys don't think that. You guys are all wicked smart, as they would say. So I think Austin Ekeler is going to have another good season. I thought he would have a good season last year, derailed like the map in Modern Warfare 2 by injury. Running back 26 in PPR, running back 29 in half PPR. Only played in 10 games, 116 rushes for 530 yards and 1 rushing touchdown. I know those are not good numbers at all, but what you're drafting Austin Ekeler for is not because this guy's going to rush for 1,000 yards. It's because this guy is going to get 7 zillion receptions with the upside of scoring 1 million rushing, and with the opportunity to rush the ball a decent amount as well. 54 receptions on 65 targets for 403 receiving yards and 2 receiving touchdowns, 16.5 PPR points per game and 13.8 half PPR points per game. Now, there was definitely a point in the season, which is exactly when the season started, with Tyrod Taylor under center, that Austin Ekeler looked like he was going to bust on your face like your name was Riley Reid, and you were going to have to go home with some load straight on your face. But in reality, that's not what happened. Austin Ekeler went, and after Tyrod Taylor's doctor stabbed him like O.J. Simpson stabbed his wife, he was on fire. Austin Ekeler and Justin Herbert, the pervert, are an excellent combo, like some chicken nuggets and barbecue sauce type deal here. I love Austin Ekeler. I liked him a lot last year. He definitely was technically a bust due to injury, but had he have played all 16 games with Justin Herbert, I genuinely think he would have finished as at least a top 12 running back, and I think he has the opportunity to be a top 5 running back. Yet again, he's not the sexiest pick because people are a little scared of him based on injury. Plus, he has a bald head, and, Mr. Clean didn't score too many fantasy points for you. He kind of cleans you out of your money because he screwed you over if you drafted him in the first round like I did. But that was because I love Austin Ekeler, and I still do. I just really like this Chargers offense for the future. They don't have that dumb fuck Anthony Lynn being their head coach anymore. 165.3 PPR points and 138.6 half PPR points. Now, the season log here is in half PPR, so it is a little bit different from the other one, but I tried to go ahead and move the PPR one in to where I make these videos, and frankly, it just was not working. My computer was it was off the rocker. So 10 games, again, 116 attempts. He did have 132 attempts in 2019, but those numbers from back in the day were when Melvin Gordon was there. He has been Django Unchained, I think is what that movie is called, from Melvin Gordon fucking him in the ass. Now he is free. I love Austin Ekeler. I really think there's going to be a tremendous 2021 season. At 14, we have Aaron Jones, running back of the Green Bay Packers. Now, Aaron Jones is definitely going to be in different spots in everyone's rankings, strictly because right now we have no idea where he's going to play in 2021. Based off of my mathematician brain, I think that they're going to resign him. Right? Why wouldn't you? Unless they really believe in A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones goes to some dumpster fire of a team, then you dribble him a little bit, fucking shoot him from 3, bang. You don't need him anymore, right? If he goes to a dumpster fire or if they don't re-sign him, then you just run away from Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones was doubted going into last year. People were saying, Nick, he can't score this many touchdowns. Me and this guy got into an argument on Twitter. I laid the guy in a fucking body bag, took him out in the rug like he was in The Wire, and I put him in a goddamn garbage can. I bodied this guy, and I'll frankly do it again because anyone Anyone who wants to dispute Aaron Jones as being a very talented NFL running back, frankly, does not watch the fucking games. Running back 5 in PPR, running back 5.5 PPR. 2 years in a row, this man did it. He was doubted all of last season. They said he couldn't score this many touchdowns, but I told people that it did not matter because when you score touchdowns, and people say you're going to regress ultimately, it does not matter when you're putting up the yards, when you're getting the receptions, when you're doing all these things. Aaron Jones is an amalgamation of a great running back for fantasy football. 201 rushing yards, or 201 rushes, I should say, for 1,104 yards last season, 9 tugs, 47 receptions on 63 targets for 355 receiving yards, and 2 receiving touchdowns. You won't even think about Aaron Jones as being a guy who's going to catch 40 balls, 50 balls, 60 balls on a season, but that's what Aaron Jones does. 18.5 PPR points per game, 16.8 half PPR points per game. The only reason why I got so fired up about Aaron Jones is because so many people doubted him. So many people were throwing this guy out because of a thing called touchdown regression. Those people who make those arguments are dumb. I won't be making those arguments for the running back position. And even if he was to regress, which he did, was still a top 5 running back. Let's look at it right now. Look at the numbers. This man scored 16 touchdowns, put up 314 points, right? But he played in 16 games. Averaged 19.7 PPR points per game. He went from 16 to 9 touchdowns. And only averaged 1.2 points less in PPR. Does that tell you enough? He doesn't need 16 touchdowns. Doesn't need 10 touchdowns. He scores 7 next year, still going to be a top 10 running back. Don't doubt Aaron Jones unless he lands on the Jets or something, because then you could just throw the pick in the fucking garbage can. At 15, Deandre Hopkins, wide receiver of the Arizona Cardinals. Real quick, we're in the middle of the video, pick 15. Make sure you guys do check out the subscribe button. Check it out, give it a nice look, give it a nice wink. Hit that subscribe button. It's free. Put out content every single day. NFL, later today. NBA picks. Went 4-0 2 days ago. Last show. Going to go 4-0 again. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss any of these videos. I have so much fun talking to you guys. I hope you guys do end up enjoying the videos. I know I'm fucking around. I'm yelling at you guys. Having a fun time. I hope you guys do enjoy that. So I'd really appreciate a nice comment as well. Or a mean comment. The mean comments are even funnier. Like, Nick, you look like you haven't fucking showered in 3 days. Nick, your eyes look terrible. I have, it looks like I have bags under my eyes or something. I don't know. That's just what the comments are telling me. But I think it's actually kind of funny. So wide receiver 4 in PPR, wide receiver 5.5 PPR. Played in all 16 games in 2020. Hopkins was a guy I was pulling back on because a lot of people were still in the camp that he was a top 3 wide receiver. He finished as number 4, so I was right about that. I just didn't have him as high as other people. But Arizona is clearly a good spot for him. 115 receptions, 160 targets, 1,407 receiving yards, 6 touchdowns. Remember, this is in a COVID offseason. He went from the Texans to Arizona in a COVID offseason and still was tremendous. The narrative I personally thought was that these guys would have a slow start, a jolted start. But DeAndre Hopkins literally did that thing in Mario Kart where you're tapping the triggers and it goes beep, 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 and then you get the boost right at the beginning of the race. That's what he did. He came out the gate hotter than, I don't even know, something that's super hot. My mixtape. 6 touchdowns, 18 PPR points per game, and 14.4 half PPR points per game. DeAndre Hopkins is great. He's on a good team. Kind of a no-brainer pick. Nothing too sexy about it. Just a solid player at number 15. Burger King foot lettuce. That's sorry, if you guys don't understand some of these jokes, they're internet jokes from 5 years ago that just pop into my membrane sometimes. Played pretty well in 2020. Nothing super special for his NFL career, but the guy's a walking 1,000+ receiving yards, walking 100 receptions. Unless he gets hurt, just a very safe pick. Next guy appears Calvin Ridley, wide receiver of the Atlanta Falcons. Now, there are rumors going around. I'm spreading the news. There's rumors coming around that Matty Ice Ice Baby, Matt Ryan, Cool Matt, is going to be gone. Now they're going to ship his ass off. Send him packing. I don't know if that's going to happen. I am not with the Atlanta Falcons, but what I do know is that I think Matt Ryan's going to stay. And I hope he does. And if he does, I like Calvin Ridley a whole lot. Wide receiver 5 in PPR, 4.5 PPR. The reversal of what Mr. Deandre Hopkins was. Played in 15 games of 2020, 90 receptions, 143 targets, 1,374 receiving yards, 9 touchdowns, 18.8 PPR points per game, and 15.8 half PPR points per game. Now I know. Nick, you know Calvin Ridley played without Julio Jones a lot of the season. That's going to screw him over now that Julio's going to come back. You silly goose. He's actually better with Julio in the lineup. Calvin Ridley is an unreal talent in a very good system for the guy to succeed. Again, a no-brainer. A young buck Calvin Ridley, who I was in favor of last year. I'm tooting the horn yet again. I love this guy's top 5 wide receiver yet again. Back-to-back Michael Jordan, 96, 97. Woo! This guy's been unreal. 3 years in the NFL, 200-plus PPR points every single year except for 2019 due to injury. This motherfucker started 5 games, 2018, scored 206 points. Sheesh, 281 PPR points last season. The guy's unreal. He's going to score touchdowns because Julio Jones, frankly, never scores touchdowns. I was going to make an analogy, but I don't even know one for something that barely ever happens. So, yeah, I mean, he's just unreal. Calvin Ridley's a very good player, and I really like this offensive system. At 17, we have James Robinson, running back of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, James Robinson, undrafted free agent, came out of nowhere, shot out of the stars, and he was beautiful. He's going to the moon like Dogecoin. James Robinson is unreal. Now, they are probably likely going to draft running back, but I've said this before, I don't think they're going to draft running back, but I do think they're going to draft running back. I just don't think they're going to draft like Najee Harris or Travis Etienne. They're going to draft a guy later in the draft to be a change of pace back for the team. James Robinson is going to be the workhorse running back like Leonard Fournette was in the past. James Robinson is that now. Running back 7 in full and half PPR, 14 games played, 7 tugs, 1,070 rushing yards, 49 receptions on 60 targets for 344 receiving yards, 3 receiving tugs. He had 17.9 PPR points per game, 16.1 half PPR points per game. He is in a place that is only going to get better. They're only going to get better. Why? Because they're bringing in Trevor Lawrence. They're getting rid of Mike Glennon. I love Gardner. He would have been great with Gardner, but the team had another idea. They wanted Lawrence. They wanted Fields. They wanted whoever they thought they could get it to. And then the Jets choked on a fat one and fucking ruined it. It was hilarious. They actually only won a game. So, yeah. I won a couple of games. So, yeah. James Robinson is in a very good spot in Jacksonville. I expect him to get a very high workload yet again. Sure, there's risk in taking a young guy that they're going to bring in another running back to the system, but I'm really not all that worried unless they draft like ETN or some shit in the first round. Next guy, again, there's no real extra stats on James Robinson because he only played for 1 year in the NFL. At number 18, we got Josh Jacobs, running back of the Las Vegas Raiders. At running back number 8 in PPR, running back 8.5 PPR, played in 15 games in 2020, was unimpressive compared to what I thought we were going to see out of Josh Jacobs. Did get over 1,000 rushing yards, 12 rushing touchdowns, but I thought he was really going to take that big leap in the receiving game. John Gruden came out saying, Mike Mack, they're saying, look, he's going to get the ball more in the receiving game, and he really didn't. We will come back to this, but I want to see the difference. Yeah, went from 27 to 45 targets. They were talking about maybe 60, 70 targets for Jacobs, so it kind of was not what I expected. 33 receptions on 45 targets for 238 receiving yards, 0 receiving tugs, 15.4 PPR points per game, and 14.3 half PPR points per game. The offensive line in Las Vegas is pretty solid. The team did have an up and down year. Seemed like they were going to make the playoffs till my Dolphins soaked them a little bit. At the end of the day, I think Jacobs is just a solid running back 1 for your team. Back half running back 1. He doesn't really have that top 5 potential unless someone was to get injured in front of him, but I do think he's a decent guy week in and week out for your lineup. Again, taking a nice step up, getting a decent amount more carries. John Gruden loves to use the workhorse running back, so that's exactly what Mr. Jacobs is going to be in this system. At number 19, we have George Kittle Timbers, tight end of the San Francisco 49ers. Rumor has it that the San Francisco 49ers are going to be signing a quarterback or trading for a quarterback. Jimmy Garoppolo, Jimmy Pornstar, is not going to be the quarterback anymore of the Niners, allegedly. Who cares? I don't. These numbers are wrong, so I'm going to go edit them real quick. Kittle finished the season as tight end 19 in PPR, as well as tight end 19 in half PPR. Obviously, due to injury, only playing in 8 games and starting in 7. But when this guy's in, he's the number one target on the team. He's going to be the guy sucking in those receptions like Yoshi in those Mario games. 48. I meant to say Kirby in Super Smash Bros. But whatever. 48 receptions, 63 targets, 634 receiving yards, and 2 total tugs. 15.6 PPR points per game, 12.6 half PPR points. Obviously a down year compared to the normal for Kittle, but this is where Kittle's going to go. Am I a big tight end guy early? No. Early on in the drafts, I typically lean away from the tight end. I'm hitting him with the Michael Jordan fade away. But this is where he's going to go, and this is where I'm going to rank him because I think the tight end position is so top-heavy that if you don't get a guy like Kittle, you don't get a guy like Kelsey, you don't get a guy like Darren Waller, then you just run away. Like fucking Forrest Gump, you run away, and you never come back, and you just wait till later. That's what I typically do. That's why I like him this high, though, because he is the guy that could dethrone Kelsey as the number one guy. Same thing goes for Darren Waller, who is not in this video because I didn't want to have 2 tight ends in a row inside of the top 20. Frankly, I don't think Darren Waller would ever even go this high. Again, a down year comparison to the last 2018-2019 season, but right there, if you pause the video, 1,300 yards, 2018, 1,000 yards in 2019. This guy is scoring 5 touchdowns 2 years in a row, only 2 last season. He's great. He's going to be good, and he's going to come back even better than ever. And closing out the top 20, we have my boy David Montgomery, running back of the Chi-Town Bears, running back 4 in PPR, running back 4.5 PPR. Now, Montgomery had 2 tails of the season. This guy at the beginning was sucking complete and utter fucking cock. He was sucking some hog. He was doing nothing. Then at the end of the season, this guy turned into the Terminator. He turned into fucking Barry Sanders or something, and he was off the hizzle, as they would say. 247 rushes for 1,070 rushing yards. He had 8 rushing tugs, 54 receptions on 68 targets, one off of being very nice, for 438 receiving yards, 2 receiving touchdowns, 17.7 PPR points per game, 15.9 half PPR points per game. Now, when looking at David Montgomery, his career was a little different. As a rookie, wasn't all that hot. Last year came off on fire. Now, his targets are going to go down as long as they do not trade away Tyreek Cohen, because Tyreek Cohen siphons in those targets. But I think we've seen the new and improved David Montgomery, what we thought he would be out of college. So I am very much in favor of David Montgomery. I've been singing the praises of this man for 2 years, and I'm back on board again in 2021. So let me know if any of these guys you think were completely fraudulent inside of the top 20. Let me know who I'm missing out on down below in the comment section. I love you all. Have a great rest of your guys' day. As always, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Goodbye.